Wow!
What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's your boy Pete Plays TCG, and I am very excited to bring you the inaugural Yappin Wit Yonkos. It's going to be my new series that I'm going to have on my channel where I interview all the walks of life in the One Piece TCG. I'm going to talk to people that top big events, top locals, people that don't top locals. Just get everyone a little bit of exposure, right? Because why not? So, without further ado, if you don't mind to introduce yourself, my good friend Drew.
Yes, of course. Well, hello everyone. First and foremost, Pete, thank you for having me on today. Super excited to be your first round of Yappin Wit Yonkos, so that's
Yes,
awesome. But my name is Drew, aka UwU, if you ever see me at a regional, or Dr. Uwu if you're Edman, I guess. So a couple different aliases there, but regardless, if you ever see me out and about, just come say what's up. Yeah, and that's it. That's me, just a guy who likes to play with shiny cardboard, and pretty much it.
That's what I like to hear, man. I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to have you as my first guest. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Before we move forward, two things. Yes, that is a Turbo Man behind me, and also, uh, as most of us from the Heart Pirates Discord, shout out Heart Pirates, if you guys are watching this. Thank you so much for all the play testing and just, the good vibes that you guys bring. But you got a good podcast, dude. Things fire. My buddy Nathaniel, shout out to him too. He is obsessed with it. He listens to it every night. He's a blue collar worker, man. Welds his life away every night, and he says it gets him through the day. So, if you don't mind to, give us a little insight on that, so we can drop the link in the description, so more people can listen to the wonderful creation you got.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm the co-host of the Project Tsundoko manga podcast. We're just a couple guys who love to read manga and watch anime. We essentially review various titles of manga and give away volume 1 of each title. So we constantly try to give back to the community as much as possible. We go to a lot of conventions and give away box sets and stuff like that. So we're always trying to give back and spread the good word of some of these lesser known mangakas. We also do big titles as well. Like we're doing Free Rin right now, sneak peek, y'all.
Hey.
So excited to get that one kind of rocking and rolling. It's been insane so far, but we've done everything from classic titles like Hajime no Ippo all the way through One Piece, things like that, Kaiju number 8. So we do everything we could possibly think of. The new titles coming out, we try to jump on it as well. Or if something's getting like a second season or its first time being animated. So we try to do all different walks of life and yeah, save you guys the hassle of reading 30, 40 volumes sometimes and kind of give you the good scoop if it's worth the time or not.
Yeah, dude, a little synopsis, right? Without too many spoilers. Respectfully,
That's the goal.
F you guys, making me cry with the Your Lie in April. What a what a good podcast and what a fantastic anime. Holy cow! I never thought that that'd be a genre I was into, but here we are, right?
Yeah, same.
So, I think we talked about it in the intro, and if I missed it, because this is like 500 takes, because I have to get up a million times to help my children, or maybe, we get 15 minutes in and someone didn't hit the record button. Cough me. But yeah, what event did you go to, and then what deck did you play? While you were there?
Yeah, so I went to Pasadena. I'm a California native, so we don't get too many events out here. Yeah, and I have terrible luck at getting into events. I try my darndest, but boy, the luck just never rolls my way. Like I was joking with Pete about this previously. It's like there's all these different treasure cups coming up in May, and I didn't get into a single one of them. I just sat there with my cart loading and like couldn't get into any of them. Even my first regional, I wasn't able to get into. One Piece Day, I wasn't able to get into. Like it was pretty tough. I should say, I wasn't able to get onto the major list. My first regional, I was able to waitlist it and get lucky. One Piece Day, waitlisted both days. Was not lucky at all. I was lucky enough to play in some side events, so one side event per day, which is tough when you flew from California to Texas. But
Hey,
That's just what you do
but
sometimes.
we all got to meet, man. Shout out to the Heart Pirates Discord and the guys there, because without that, this right here wouldn't be possible. We probably wouldn't be connected. But you know, people say the burnt
Yeah.
toast theory. If you don't know what that is, everything happens for a reason. In short, right? You burn toast. It was
Yeah.
meant to happen, right? You got to throw another pair of toast in there and cook them up. So yeah, man,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
really excited to do this and have you as my first guest, man. And I'm also excited to see how this progresses in the future, right? Because like I said, I wanna pick everyone's brain. It doesn't just have to be the top, the cream of the crop, as Macho Man Randy Savage would say, right? So that being said, what placement did you get, and what were your matchups looking like?
Yeah, so I was very lucky enough to earn 13th, so I was pretty darn cool. I took Shanks as well, which is a deck some people love, some people hate. I feel like there's more
Or
hate
some
than
people
love
love
right
to hate.
now. Yeah, a lot of people love to hate it for real. They call it a helmet deck. They say it's a brain dead deck. They say it's a deck that plays itself. This deck just plays on curve, etc. There are micro decisions throughout this build for sure. There's also 3 different ways you can build the deck as well. I mean, we've seen red hair, we've seen straw hat, we've seen animal, we've seen hybrid versions. So I feel like the deck had a lot of flexibility from a deck building standpoint. Yes, you play Rayleigh. All right, you play Rue. Sometimes, you play Backman, cool. But still, there's 50 cards in the deck, and I thought that Shanks, just out of those 50 cards, had a lot of flexibility within the deck building. And I come from playing a lot of yellow, so like Nell was my first deck. And it was Fortress Yamato, Lakers Croc, back to Anel, and when 09 hit, I just wanted something that kind of reminded me of Anel in a certain way. I feel like
Yeah.
Anel has the ability to like have a little bit of aggression with Rush Anel, and back in the day with Holy, and things like that. But also it can pull your board quite a bit. So I like playing big juicy Kaidas or Kaijus, pardon me.
Yes,
Be able to
sir.
slap 9s down, like it feels good. It's like, what are you gonna do until you're bricked?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was a great deck. My matchup wise, I was expecting a boatload of mirrors and a boatload of teach, and it was a little nerve wracking going into it. But it was one of those days where I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I win. I don't care if I lose. I just want to make sure that I cut down my misplays and grow as a player. So that was honestly my mindset going into every single round. Was just cut down on misplays and then work on everything my coach, the GOAT himself, Mr. Heart Pirates, has taught me so far.
Shout
After
out
all the
Joey.
money I spent with him and time, I'm like, all right, we got to make this happen here. We need to recoup some of those funds. And was blessed enough to spend so much time with Joey, with Sebastian, and and you as well. So having a great testing pool was huge going into this event.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. My last comment before I get into my matchups, I was training with my friend Sebastian, and he's watching me play ranked. And at the time, I was like 2.5 billion. Was trying to hit like 3 before I got to regionals, and we're grinding, and we played 4 P Luffy games in a row. And at the end of it, and all of them had first, all of them had double Luffy Taro. I'm like, this is a bad sign. I was able
Quadruple
to get
Gum
the
Gum
wins for all
Giant.
4 of them. Yeah, ban that card first and foremost. Like, she has to go.
Oh,
That card
dude.
is insane.
Before we
So
get
insane.
before we get Snake Man Luffy, please, if y'all are gonna
Yeah.
if y'all are gonna give my man a nail astray and you're gonna kill Rygo, kill Gum Gum Giant, dog. Okay.
100%. 100%. So yeah, and we were joking about it. He's like, I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of P Luffy in this event. And I'm like, well, if I do, at least I have to build for it. And I saw quite a few P Luffy. So round 1, I played P Luffy, Bonnie, Kid, P Luffy, Bonnie, Anel, Shanks. So that was my spread for the day. So quite a few P Luffys, 2 Bonnies, 1 Anel, two yellow kids. And to wrap up my day, my mirror was Shanks, who I was ready just to beat the brakes off this guy regardless. It wasn't about him; it was more about me being frustrated. I went 6-0. I was ranked first from my fourth, fifth, and sixth round. But Eggman didn't want to see any other Shanks on stream, so he kept putting me at other tables. So I'm like, all right, first time being on stream would have been cool. But it's all good. No worries. I ironically played him training, kind of going up this unranked. I had a game with him, and maybe that's what he was still thinking about. Who knows?
Maybe, bro.
But
He's still salty.
yeah, no, right? No, he's a nice guy. Yeah,
No.
yeah. So I lost in round 7 against Bonnie. He saw the nuts, and it was a little bit tough for me to kind of get around it. I was playing really greedy with my removal. I do play control shanks, so we'll see that once you get into my deck list. But he played like Cavendish on 5, I removed it. Hody, I removed it, and then dropped Zoro, and I'm like,
no.
wasn't really expecting that. I'm like, this is pretty bad. So Zoro got 6 swings in before I could remove it, so that really sucked. Yeah, got him down to 1 life, 1 blocker. I had Roger on the field already to clear the Zoro. 10 cost Shanks, and like that was really it. Uta, he had 4 or 5 cards in hand, and bro was like stressing, and he had Tashigi on board as well with his blocker, and just like out of like reflex, I played backman to clear the blocker like a dumbass. Definitely was not my finest moment, and I think that's my biggest learning from this like, regional is just to breathe. Obviously, Tashigi effect. There's about 50 people watching us, and they all gasped at the same time.
Oh my god!
It was like that guy just threw. He threw, and I'm like, yeah, I threw. So I lost, and then went and played an L. Was like a little flustered from my loss, as I'm sure anyone would be. Yeah. 6-0. I lost to Beige per game, so it's like I had a 12K and a 9K swing, and like mathematically he couldn't get out of both. And he just Beiges the 12, and he has all of his cards in hand to get to 10. And I'm like, all right, bro, I lost, but you got it. So that was really tough. So I'm a yellow player. Yeah, and then my last round against Shanks, I had one of the homies watching me as well. I feel bad for my opponent. He was really nervous. He was like barely holding onto his cards. I'm just sitting there, just like staring at this man's soul. Just like waiting to get this round over with. Yeah, I ended up getting the win and went 7-2, got 13th, and yeah, it was an interesting day. Close to top 8. One of my biggest goals here is just to get a serial. I can care less about the Nats invite, which is a great honor. Like, I hope everyone knows it's so cool. And shout out to you as well, Pete, for earning your Nats invite. Can't wait to play in round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been interesting to say the least, and just incredibly grateful to all of the support I had leading up to this moment. You know, I know we've shouted out the Heart Pirates Discord quite a few times, but you know, I owe a lot. I owe Zeke Kuhn a lot as well, so shout out to Zeke Kuhn TCG.
Yeah, Zeke.
Yeah, a lot of really good people in this community here, and it's also once you start kind of going to more events, meeting more people, creating a test group, like how it can really kind of push your skills forward.
Yeah. Well, I will say, dude, you know, mistakes happen. You know, first of all, second regional ever, right? You know, obviously there's, you know, we're not going to make excuses, but mistakes, in my experience, make us better, right? You know, I spent 14 years in the Army where I just went in as a dumbass private, and I was stumbling and bumbling through life and trying to figure things out. But, you know, eventually I progressed through the pipeline, and, you know, unfortunately I had to retire a little bit early. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm just on to the next thing. And yeah, dude, failures just produce probably more the most successful people, in my opinion. I will ask you, besides the misplay in the Bonnie game and getting beiged, what do you think your toughest matchup was throughout the entire day?
Oh. My first game against P. Luffy, I mulliganed into 3 building snakes and a fine departure. So I was a little confused about how I was going to get out of that one. That was probably the hardest one. He went first. He Luffy Taro, and I'm like, oh, sick. Like I'm going to get rolled my first game because P. Luffy just has it. Like, when they have it, they have it. And just slowly but surely, I started like finding my pieces, playing board, chipping it live, playing board, chipping it live, and winning with a 7K Ucha swing when he had 3 cards in hand. Was pretty nerve-wracking. I was on 1 life, Zoro, Rush Luffy, plus like his leader and contend on next turn. And I had like 3 cards in hand myself, so I'm like, I'm not making it, you know? So I was like, if this 7K connects, I'm like, well, bro, if you got it, you got it. He had 1K brick and did not have it, and he went 7-0 after our game. So I was his only loss for the day. He got top 8. Yeah, so he could definitely. I think he was a little flustered. That was probably my hardest game of the day outside of a kid matchup I actually had. My second kid game, I was caught in kid loop, and he just like was burning my life, and then was just triple. I had 110 drop, and that was all the top end I saw the entire game. So I was just trying to use effects and decrease characters, swing in, pop things if I can. Like, it was really difficult.
Yeah.
He played 3 rush aces, 3 laws, and 2 of the burn kids, and I still barely went to time.
Wow.
I still barely won. That was probably my toughest games because I just saw 2Ks all game. 2Ks, which if we saw the world, was it the world finals?
Yeah,
or
the
something
Worlds,
like
yeah,
that?
it was Worlds, where he had nothing but 2Ks in hand.
Nothing but 2Ks, yeah, I'm like, damn, I feel that pain right now.
Yeah.
Which sometimes Shanks be shanking.
Yeah,
you have bricks, you got
sometimes it be like that.
Well,
and to be honest, as a fellow like kid enjoyer myself, it's just one of those decks that like, if you see the nuts, like that is a hard freaking deck to beat, man. Especially the 4-cost Basil Hawkins, like that is no joke of a card right there. It hurts when you're trying to swing at your opponent and you burn their life, right? Like, that feels bad. So after that,
Mommy called and Mommy said, "Do you want to go get food?"
yeah, tell her here in a little bit. We'll go get food, okay? I love you. Sorry about that. Random intermission, right? Little child.
You're fine.
Have food with me.
All right. Well, tell Callie to share food with you, okay? All right. Well, moving forward, let's take a peek at your deck profile and see what you got going on, if you don't mind.
Perfect.
You're good to go, my friend.
Amazing. As you know, mono red, 5 life, once per turn, give something -1,000. I think that's such a phenomenal effect. Yeah, it's just one of the decks that I feel like has a lot of support. Sometimes you see Bondi produce leaders that have just super mid support, but a really good leader effect. But Shanks, I think, was great, and the support was fun. As mentioned previously, I do run the red hair package. So I run 4 Uta for consistency's sake. You know, you can find your 10 drops. Most importantly, you can find, and honestly, this is probably one of my favorite cards in this deck, is Building Snake. I played 3 Building Snake. I wish I could run it at 4. I mean, this card, like, when you see it, and when you see those games where you're going, like, Building Snake, Beckman, Building Snake, anything you need to kind of, like, clear up the board, or even setting one up for the mirror late game, playing a Pop Shanks to remove their Shanks, it's just so good. It's 1, negs 3. Building Snake is just the absolute MVP, in my opinion.
Yeah, that card is a terror, man. That card is a terror, especially for 1 cost.
Yeah, it's a fun one for sure. I played 4 Otama, PRB Arts, because this is, I think, the best looking Otama, hands down. Such a beautiful card. Great flexible 2K in red. We'll probably always see this 2K in the majority of red decks. I run 2 Lime Juice, which this did come up in my NL game. Boy, if I would have had this in that yellow kid game, he was just going La Shirahoshi. I'm like, bro, you're gonna make me cry. Like, after you saw your 4th Shirahoshi that game, I'm like, okay, you're pushing me to my limits here. So that's a fun one to be able to stun a quick blocker and you know, be cheeky if needs be, or stun a blocker and swing into a big character.
Oh, for sure.
I play 4 Hongo. Phenomenal card in this deck. Even on 3, playing them out if you're not playing against a black deck, or even some red decks, a little nerve-wracking to put this out depending on the build, because people are starting to run Marco now.
Yeah.
But it's great. Flex 2K turns into a pseudo blocker after you use it. I played 4 Chopper, so nothing too surprising there. Hopefully this gets a cool alt art one day.
Yeah, I like that card too.
Yeah, it's a good one. I play one of the most broken blockers in One Piece, in my opinion. I think Lucky Roo is
Without
just
a
such
doubt.
a menace. You know, I really wish it said original power or 6K or whatever. I wish it was just both. There's so many times you neg something and they swing in. I just want to be like, yeah, let me pop that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Rue outside of the Doki matchup is so good. Great in the mirror. It's great in the black. It's just a phenomenal card. And even late game against Purple Luffy, I was playing this guy who I don't know. He had the bling, the bling of the bling. Championship Sungoros, the top player Sanjis, the manga Luffy's, manga kids, like baller deck.
Wow.
And I played 2 of these at the end, and he just sat there and was like, not knowing what to do. So it's a great card. Definitely has a lot of utility there. I played 3 Yasop, another phenomenal card. It's just one of those ones I feel like you get so much value out of this card. If it sticks, it's a menace. I feel like this card gets removed constantly, but at least you get that 6K buff between that leader effect. Definitely slows down games at times. But just having the extra reduction when attacking is huge. I play 3 Marco. Marco is a great card in this deck. Everyone's like, oh, you don't run a ton of events. Why do you play Marco? Just being able to pop a 3K is huge. So if you building snake, pop a 6K, right? If you Marco, you can pop a building snake that someone's trying to set up a Hongo, or you're playing Bonnie, pop the searchers. Usopp, pop like the little chump blockers, kind of if you need to put additional pressure.
Oh, 100%.
You can even pop Rebecca's, things like that, like late game. But I really think Marco's a great card in this deck. I play 4 Beckman. No surprise there.
Yeah,
Great cards in every Shanks deck for a reason. Trap to 6, insane. I play 2 Newgates. I think Newgate is a really good card in this deck. I think seeing him at 2 is just enough. With decks like Zoro on the rise, he's phenomenal. Even if you're going for game, you need to pop a blocker. You can still play Newgate, remove something, swing 9. I think that's pretty important. Plus the SP is just crazy fire.
Oh god, yeah, that SP is so beautiful.
One of my favorite effects in this deck for sure. I played 2 Dragon. I wish this was at 3. I can't really find a way to get him to 3 with my current build. I have a lot of 3s in the deck and some 2s in the deck, but I want to keep consistency high. So it's been a little tough from a deck building perspective. But he's just so important against Blackbeard. If you can go second, see this on curve, then go into your 10 Shanks, you're feeling pretty darn good most of the games. But if you don't see it, boy, it feels bad. It feels really bad if you don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue
that's kind of like where my list falls apart against Blackbeard, unfortunately. Run 4 Rayleigh. Probably one of the most broken cards in One Piece. Has 3 effects. Neg 1 card, neg another, pop another. It's just such a phenomenal card overall. This might be bait. I can't quite say yet, but I run 3 of the Rush Shanks. I've seen lists currently that have been performing really well with no Shanks and just really leaning into the Dragons. But still, like playing a 10-12 Rusher, a stagnant effect of -1 across the board is incredibly strong. And he says he's the man, the myth, the legend.
I mean, yeah. And the alt art's crazy good too. Like,
yeah, 100%. I play 1 Pop Shanks. This card is so underrated. I love this card quite a bit. It is massive into green. Like when I finally found this when Zoro was little, and I'm like, oh, he's cooked. He has 3 or 4 Dawn up. He plays Tashigi, and I'm like, God, this would happen after you get 6 swings. You finally find your Tashigi. So that was super frustrating right when I top decked this. But luckily, I top decked the other goat in the deck that got me through was Roger. This card's insane. You know, I don't know if he'll be in the deck coming into EVO 2, but right now, just having a win pawn in your deck is crazy. Like it's just
100%. Yeah, there's nothing feels better than dropping that freaking thing and winning a game with it. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, seriously. Like, good luck getting have a 13K to face. Like that's tough, especially if you have like a 6 or a 5 on board as well. So you poke, then here's 13. Cool card. I mean, Pirate King for a reason, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I play only 2 events. I play 2 Divine Departures. This card, I had it at 3. Honestly, I could see it going back to 3. It is really good. I mean, I think all these colors moving forward are doing these like flexible events where it's, you know, you have Activate Main for some counter, then you have Activate Main to do something, and then you have the counter aspect as well. For this, being able to pop an 8,000 for 6, is pretty good, especially if you're in a bind and you're like, damn, I just need to relieve some pressure. And it's searchable. Like when you're going for like your attend on turn and you want to play Dragon 7, 9, play Utsa, search one of these, keep a Dawn up, pretty darn good.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This came up in my Bonnie game actually. I had 1 life left, I had 1 life, 3 cards in hand, and I'm like, man, I haven't seen a departure all game. And I'm like, I'm pretty certain, like through all my searches, like I haven't seen anything, so it's going to be coming up. I left a Dawn up, it was there, and I was 1K short from winning that game. So that was so painful. Even though I misplayed, like if I had 1 more K, winning would have been huge, going 7-0, and then essentially like locking in for the next 2. But yeah, so you live and you learn. But great card. I mean, I see some people not running this and running events like Kick Force, running events like Red Hawk over it, things like that. I just think this is a phenomenal card, and I really like the flexibility.
Yeah, the utility in that card is fantastic because you can use it both offensively and defensively, right? So, and 6 Dawn to remove a body, it's not hard to take. It's not hard for you, especially with the build that you're playing, to reduce, even, a 12 cost or, especially if you already have a 10 cost established, right? You're already neg 1 on the board, so basically it's an 11K. So for 1 Dawn, you play build. You can play Build Instinct, get rid of it for 6 Dawn. So, and that's huge to change the tempo in the game.
100%. Yeah, it's fun, especially when Blackbeards think they're safe and like hiding behind a 112K blocker. If you slap that down, remove it on curve, like wait, what just happened? Even though it can be really expensive, but it's a great card overall. And the art is so sick. Like the first manga event is super fire. Now I was lucky enough to pull 2 of them. I got 2 boxes. My first box, first pack was Departure. My second box, last pack was Departure. So I'm like, okay, I think it's a sign to at least run 2.
Yeah, I love that altar. I pulled one at a release. Luckily, I moved it right away.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. We'll do 2 tokens in a minute, honey. Yeah. So go in there, and I'll be there really shortly, not much longer. Sorry about that. It doesn't seem like you have any tech choices in there, but if you do, you can talk us through that, and then why you pick Shanks.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like major tech choices in here as well. I mean, I see some people run Building Snake at 2. I have them at 3. A lot of people don't run Newgate anymore. I run 2 Newgates. The craziest thing probably about the Shanks list, I don't run the 5C Luffy. Yeah, everyone's on that card. The 5 Rush. It is a really strong card for sure. Just for me, I feel like it didn't make sense. There's a lot of bricks in here, if you can't tell. There's quite a few bricks. So when I'm not making a house, it feels pretty darn good. But I essentially kind of leaned away from the 5C Luffy for the Building Snake and Newgate. Was kind of my idea there. So I know a lot of lists run him at 4.
Yeah.
I figured with the bans kind of happening, with Moria getting hit, with Ice Age getting hit, with Raigo getting hit, with Jinbei getting hit, I'm like, it's going to be a really different meta than what we've seen previously. So my thought was, like, maybe if Luffy isn't as prevalent, Smoker's not as prevalent without Moria, and without Ice Age, like maybe there's some like a room for like a red removal deck. Because essentially, there's not a ton of cards, and with BY getting hit as well, there's not a lot of cards that are consistently boosting their power on my turn, right?
Right, yeah.
So, with like the Punch Loopy gone, I'm like, okay, there's some kind of areas of opportunity to really just lean into like power-based removal. And that was my thought with this deck. I'm just like, I want to remove your board and play these giant bodies. So it's like, cool, I removed your 9. I put down either a 7 or an 8. Like, how are you going to respond? And then I slap a 10 down. It's like, well, what's next? Like, can you clear it? So it's kind of interesting going this route. And yeah, a lot of setup plays in the mirror, just poking here and there, and then setting up, poking, setting up, poking.
Yeah.
Versus like a lot of people are just trying to rush you down as fast as you can. But I feel like if you can stabilize within like the aggro Shanks matchup, you can really do pretty well with the control build.
Yeah, like as a fellow control player myself, man. I do like that aspect. I like to be like in control of the game state, right? Like if I can't control the game state, it kind of throws off like my feng shui, if you will. which is hilarious because I got my Nats invite with Zoro, which is like the complete opposite. You know, I just played Enel from 06 all the way up until the bans, and then I take Zoro to a store championship and get a Nats invite. Right? It's just take these bodies and crack with it. Right? I guess
Dude,
like since we're not too far from EBO 2, what do you think is going to change with your deck list prior to moving into, you know, we already know Grape Luffy is coming, and that deck is very scary, to be honest. I don't know if it's tier 0, because I think it loses to, doesn't it lose to RG Smoker? I think anything that plays like 8 cost Kid, I think it loses to, but that deck is actually kind of terrifying. I hate to admit it, but I'm probably gonna meta slave and grind that deck a bunch. I'll get all the staples from EVO 2 as soon as it comes out and see what, you know, the meta looks like, what the shakeout looks like. Because honestly, this is the healthiest I think the meta's been since the bans. There's like right now there's like no definitive B diff. Obviously Shanks is the most like represented deck, but that's probably based off popularity and how easy it is to like just pick the deck up and play. I'm not saying the deck is like brain dead or anything like that. Although, you know, sometimes when I lose to it, I'm like, man, fuck this brain dead deck. Because it just feels bad sometimes, and now I know how people felt when they lost to Enel, you know, so. But sorry for my guys at Locals that I was terrorizing with Enel for so long. But yeah, what do you think moving into EBO 2? If you would change anything with the deck list, or do you think you're going to branch out and you yourself play Grape Luffy?
Yeah, I've been testing a little bit here and there already. I've been running some games with Grape Luffy, and maybe it's just my list. But dude, that deck bricks. Like when that deck bricks, it bricks, and it's very difficult to get out of. The thing is, it has so much consistency as well, and it is a hard deck to play. Like it's
there's no doubt about that.
Easy. A lot of resource management, non-management, playing ahead that goes into that deck. But also, if you don't see Sanji Pudding, you're just cooked.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It kind of lives and dies by Sanji and Pudding and Giant. Like, those are the two cards that really keep
Giant can be pretty scary sometimes because you're normally at like 7, 8.
Yeah.
So if you start kind of hitting too much of the Giants, you're cooked next turn. For me, though, I'm going to play a little bit of Shanks, a little bit of GP, and see what makes sense. I just can't see myself going to a 10-round, 9-round regional with GP and like having it be consistent enough to win. Maybe it just speaks to my skills as a pilot. I definitely need to play more and kind of see what. For Shanks, though, I gotta see what happens with Blackbeard. Hopefully, if Blackbeard goes away a little bit, Dragon can come out of the deck. I'll put in Stage. So I think for the meta, you have to run Red Force. It's just it's a must. I've been testing with Joey a little bit and my buddy Arax as well. And whenever I see a Red Force early, like by like my second turn or so, if I can just constantly minus Sanji Pudding KO, Sanji Pudding KO, it feels pretty good. You just gotta worry about like dying at 3 life if they see the new Secret Luffy.
Yeah, oh my god.
That card is broken. It is very, very, very broken.
Bandai loves broken Luffy cards, man. The broken Luffy cards are their masterpiece, man.
100%. So yeah, just I think testing Sage right now. You know, I've seen other builds where they go for like 4 Yasop, 4 Marco, 4 Building Snake, 2 Rue, and Stage. But the 2 Rue feels kind of weird right now, just depending on how the meta shakes up. I have a regional coming up in Vegas, so I definitely need to understand a little bit more before Vegas gets here. And I have 7 store regionals coming up, so we'll see if I can.
You're a busy man.
Those out. Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
How about you? What do you have for EVO 1?
Dude, like. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't going to be trying to get them 5 cost Sanjis and them 10 cost NLs like right away and see what we can do with that. I think NL will be in a much better place than it was. But the biggest thing, man, is it's going to be rough because we don't have a way to remove top end now. So you just kind of lose to decks that just go tall. You know, after 8 Dawn, it starts to become a struggle bus. And then when you're playing
Yeah.
into Bonnies that play the 9 Shanks, the pop, and most Bonnies are back on Zoro, like they're because they're like, oh no Rygo, cool, you can answer this. Like, show me how you answer this, and if you can, you deserve the win, right? But I don't know. I tested it when they first updated the sim, and I was playing Danelle a lot. I've been dabbling in the grape Luffy, you know, nonsense. But I'm not 100% sure. I've seen some of that new chopper looks fun that you can play in Zoro, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I know you already told us, but where can we expect to see you again, Drew?
Yeah, Vegas will be my next major event. So hopefully we can pull out another dub there. I will say it feels weird getting your first top, and then people at locals were like, "Who is this guy? He goes X all the time." Yeah, so that's a little interesting, but hopefully we can kind of stay focused, get our top in Vegas, and go from there. Yeah, that, and then a bunch of local events. So I have those store championship or store Turner Cups coming up. Yeah, so we'll see what's going on there. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting next like 2 months of the One Piece. We're used to UwU 2 testing, and then that's going to shake up.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I got. Just, in closing, if anyone's gotten this far, I appreciate y'all watching. Drew, I really appreciate you taking your time and doing this interview with me. I'm like I said earlier, I'm excited to see where this goes in the future. And if you got any socials, I know we already talked about plugging your podcast here in the interview. But if you got any other socials that you want to plug, now's your time.
Yeah, check us out at Project Tsundoko. Tsundoku's TSUNDOKU. So check us out on Instagram. We post a bunch of manga panels and some fun things here and there. You can find our podcast on any major platform. So if you're on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Pod, whatever you like to listen to, you can find us on there and check us out and see what you think. Leave us a review. We appreciate it.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you guys. Once again, I can't say enough. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you, Drew, for being our very first guest. And
yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to the future with this, and hopefully we get you again after you get your first cereal. And then for those of you that are following me here on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to be as active as I can be. I'm very busy. I'm a stay-at-home dad now that I'm retired from the Army. But I try to keep up with it as much as I can, and I'm going to try to be much more consistent now with my YouTube uploads. I'll be putting, gameplay, things like that. But Pete Plays TCG on all socials. So, Drew, once again, thank you very much, and I look forward to doing this with you again when you got a cereal, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Pete, and we will definitely talk soon, my guy. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right.